Welcome everyone to another episode of Price Targets with your host Bitcoin Jack. Wow, what did Bitcoin do last week? Massive sell-off, I think close to 17%, and pretty neat reaction of the levels that we described last week. You can always watch that back. That played out pretty neatly. Bitcoin on the high time frame on the weekly has reacted to the weekly block that we've been using ever since I started this series. I should have seen that coming. I should have reduced some of my fiat exposure right there, I guess, but I didn't. And I'm still just chilling in a cash position, waiting for price to make up its mind. So we're gonna dive into what I'm seeing. We're going to dive into what I expect afterwards. It's going to get a little bit blurry, but the gist of it is that we are most likely still going to see some downside this week. And then once that's done, I think we're just going to continue the bull run in, well, the way we've been continuing it over the last couple of weeks. So let's dive into, well, maybe just have a little look on the 3-day first. So 23rd of November pivot kind of worked out. We are now kind of trying to figure out what price wants to do. We can see that we're, in terms of those accelerations that we talked about, we can kind of assume that we've broken some of them. So there's this one right here, which is broken, and obviously there was another acceleration right here that has been broken. So I'd say that confirms local parabolic price action to have broken, and then this little, well, large sell-off of 17% that occurred right here is, I'd say, the first impulse down, and we can see that there was a heavy volume right here, and the subsequent volume right here is kind of absent. So today and yesterday, obviously weekend days, so generally not a lot of volume. We can see that back on the charts right here. I'd say that doesn't give the bullish case too much strength, but there's other reasons to not give the bullish case too much strength at this point, and I'll show you my invalidation for that as well. If we look at just simple daily structure right here, we have a pivot right here. So if you want to talk about it from a price action perspective, this here is a pivot that took us higher to yearly highs and almost to all-time high, and after that we nuked it. So this level right here is super important, around 18.5, 18.4. It's really a resistance, and it doesn't even have to really get there because we have those equal daily lows here too, and this low here. So this entire region is kind of a resistance. If we dive into the 12-hour, it kind of looks a little more clear. Maybe the 4-hour, yeah. So this is essentially where the bull trap was caused or originated from, and I expect that to be resistance. The other thing, maybe, yeah. So it's clear to me that this is some kind of impulsive move down. So that could be part of a larger corrective structure, and then this is to the first leg down, and generally it will at least require another leg down. So A, B, C, and maybe it's going to get a whole different structure as we continue downwards. But I'd say that this is a bearish retest on low volume, looking pretty weak. Probably gonna I mean, I'd find it very logical for price now to retest this, and you know, maybe nuke this high right there before coming down. That would make a lot of sense. So from a price action perspective, bullish market structure got broken as we kind of lost this low and this low right here. We even lost this entire structure. So what I do think is that this is just a distribution pattern, and we're going to see continued sell-off pretty shortly. Today's Sunday, so we can expect some more volume to come back into the market, and the institutional players maybe join the party again tomorrow. I don't think they're playing much during the weekends. There's obviously less volume in the weekends. So if we need to figure out where that could make us land to the downside, I'm going to switch on log scale for a minute, because to the downside, using these kind of makes more sense. But then we can see that the one-to-one extension of this move originating from here would make sense to land around 15 around 15k, and that's also like the dead center of this weekly zone. And if it extends further down, then it's going to make a lot of sense that we're going to see it happen right there at the 1.618. So that's going to bring us down to this and this, which is 13.5 to 14k. That makes a lot of sense in terms of what we can see on the weekly, right? So I think I'll probably have to go and clean up the chart in the next couple of weeks, because we've been drawing a lot of things on it. But what we can see right here is that 13, obviously 13.5, 14 is a logical level right there. And I mean, from a technical perspective, you could say that we need to come down and retest this region right here, which is a little bit below 13, 12.5. I'm not sure if it's going to happen, because it seems that there's a lot of interest going on, and we don't have to guess, right? So being in fiat right now, being in a cash position, is just the downside is just going to be a nice way to gain some extra bitcoins, and then we can start accumulating long leverage as we reach into these levels and start to see some potential bullish setups form. There's this inefficiency right here. There's one actually around 15k as well, and then we have one here that's immediately filled. So we can see this entire weekly candle, we kind of retraced most of it and then bounced, which kind of, if you just look at it from this way, makes you wonder where price is going to go. But yeah, so like I said, I do expect that price is at least going to come back trading into the 0.5 area here. So that's a retest of the ascending broadening wedge. Or if we lose that, then I think we're just going to like fill most of the area up down here. So then it's 12, 13. Seems plausible too. So that's kind of it. And I need to talk about invalidation. So let's go back to the 4 hour. If we regain on the daily this 18.5 level, then I have to get rid of my bearish buys. Then it kind of makes sense that price is just going to continue up to, I don't know, 20, 21, 22k. And it would kind of suck, because I would literally not have profited of this entire move. I should have, but I didn't. So yeah, this zone 18.4, 18.5, if we gain that on the daily, that's going to be a reason for me to, not necessarily turn bullish, but at least buy back my spot exposure. And I'm not going to be waiting for further downside. And if we just get chopped up after that, I'm just going to wait for opportunities to re-enter the market. It's kind of blurry at that point. and it wouldn't make sense in my head that we go through this level straight away. So here's a ascending broadening wedge diagonal. Kind of think that is our next level for sure, and maybe if we lose that, we go lower. So summary: 13.8 to 13.5 is kind of like the next level if 15 doesn't hold, and there might be even further downside, but I'll start scaling back into spot Bitcoin as we reach 14k. Maybe I'll even buy some as we reach into 15, but I think we're at least going to see 15, and then hopefully we're going to get some more downside, and get everyone pretty bearish again. That would be a dream come true. And if not, if we gain the daily structure here, I mean, at least we managed to risk to the downside, didn't lose much, and well, hopefully we'll see a rally to 21, 22k then. And I don't know. It's kind of like, you know, if we don't sell off here, it's kind of like a shitty position, because what I like to do is be able to expose myself to long exposure as Bitcoin rallies, and I won't be able to get a lot of leverage as we gain this. So we'll have to see how that develops. I think if we do that, I'll probably make a new video. I'm not expecting for it to happen. I'm expecting the downside right here. We can have a quick looky at ETH BTC, but I'm gonna tell you I'm not interested in ETH BTC as long as Bitcoin doesn't clear up to me and looks bullish. We talked about how I would have loved to see this around the bottom here, and then some consolidation right here, and then expansion, but it all happened way too quick for me, and I was way too scared with Bitcoin becoming bearish to actually gain into it. And I mean, obviously this rally was still on Bitcoin's strength, so it would have been a great trade. I was not in it. We got rejected by the 0.5 here, and literally right here, this is where price kind of like well, stopped rallying, and I think this is just where like the ETH 2.0 contract got entirely filled. So I don't know where this is going to go, if this is going to continue up or not. This is probably going to be in line with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin dumps, I think this is just going to come back down here, retest this bullish block right here, because obviously this is quite impulsive. This is quite a beautiful little rally, so you know, you would probably want to be interested again as we get back down here. And Litecoin, same story. You know, like it's been going all directions as Bitcoin started to sell off. It really started to sell off as well. I'm not really gonna be looking for exposure right there, as a capitulation is still possible. It doesn't have to be much, but I just don't want to be exposed to the long side in a market that has a lot of downside potential. So I think that kind of summarizes my view on the market. We'll have to just wait and see what happens, see if Bitcoin is going to sell off here. It would make a lot of sense that it does. And targets, well, spoke about that. So I'm gonna be making another video in a couple of days if this kind of is able to find some confirmation to one side, and I'll catch you guys later.